So I'm sure, like all of us, I appreciated Carrie's talk last night, that sense of embodiment that she so emphasized. And that the door that we enter something, once we enter, the entrance fee we pay as we enter our body is that we have to deal with the issues of the past that have not been completely resolved. Some of the emotional scarring, the physical traumas, etc. And that we will remain very at odds with ourselves until all of those difficulties are resolved. And they are resolved through one and only one way. They are resolved through love. We love ourselves we love ourselves out of existence. We love ourselves out of existence. And at the time when you start loving your body, you no longer want to leave it. It's not like, I'll love this thing so I can leave it. When you have actually settled with it, when you have arrived sufficiently so that you are settled with it, then it changes form. It changes its disposition. It's no longer the fixed and the something that I needed to get over. It becomes part of the very gateway towards revelation itself. But any other motivation except love, and you're left with something, you're left with two things, yourself and the thing you're working with. This is also applicable to any state of mind, any part of yourself that feels as if it's something that you have to deal with. You do have to deal with it, but you have to deal with it in wise relationship, within a connection, and an allowance, and a release, and an acceptance that only comes when there is no longer any resistance to what it is that you are working with. So you change the something that you are working with into the nothing that you are through the gateway of love. You simply love yourself into nothing. Now, that's extraordinary, really, because it's the last thing we want to do. We want to do something about our difficulties. We want to rearrange them. We want to align it so that it's more comfortable, so that finally I can accept it. But reality is already perfectly aligned. Our body is perfectly itself. Our mind is a perfect manifestation, as is the tree. And to align ourselves so that there is no resistance whatsoever can only come when we don't see two. When we don't see something we need to do about something. When something doesn't need fixing. When we have surrendered our argument. Up until that time, we are mechanical in our practice. The mechanistics, the mechanics of our practice have to do with the resolution of what we will apply this. If this is happening, I'll do that. And then if that's happening, I'll do something else. That keeps us in movement. It keeps us in slight controversy until we are willing to rest with something, until we are willing to completely surrender whatever its present condition is. What we surrender then is our separation. And what keeps us separate is the slight dialoguing we have that keeps us mechanical. See, there's a mechanical quality to meditation that many of us know. That's the techniques that we use, the skillful means that we apply. And then there's the release, all the skillful means were ever meant to do was to square us sufficiently so that we could release whatever residue of tension remains, so that we have absolutely no objection, the final release. Because what kept something at odds with us is our refusal to accept it unconditionally. And when we are willing to unconditionally accept it, we no longer have any separation from it. And then the duality of it, the separation of it, ceases. It's so beautiful, really. I mean, it's one of those elegant Dharma points that you know is true simply because it feels so resoundingly elegant. And this is our problem. As we face ourselves, from our sense of self, the sense of self is in conflict to virtually everything. It has a story about something, and a judgment. It has a comparison. It's evaluating. And those are the minor ways that we keep engaging life as an other through our evaluation, through our judgment. And so there's a way that love is sort of our last resource, because all the arguments haven't worked. All of our mechanical practices have made us dry. In fact, I can often find or experience people's dryness, and I'm sure you can experience in your own practice, because you've been too mechanical in it. You have too many things you can do about something. Too many resources, too many... it's all mapped out so specifically. If X happens, I'll do Y. That takes us or dries our heart. It doesn't allow the connection to show itself. Because we're doing something about it means that we have a difficulty with it. Why would we do anything about anything if we didn't have any difficulty about it? The fact that we're in movement means that there's difficulty. When we're not in movement, that means that there is no difficulty. And the non-movement is love. So to see where we move is to see how we create duality, how we create separation. The Buddha talked about it in terms of desiring and fearing. But to say what I'm saying is exactly the same thing, really. Some of us feel misaligned with the word love. It doesn't sit with us well. We've had too many bad experiences under that word, under the umbrella of that word. And we have to find a renewed relationship with it. Are you okay, sweetie? You're right? Okay. You can see the arising of the self within. I mean, it's just amazing, really, when you allow that word to settle with you, and then you see what you need to do about something. That's the rising of self from nothing. And it's arising because there's some problem that it perceives, that it has to do something about. And we have now a spiritual problem we have something to do about. So we have arisen spiritually. And we think that self is a better self than the worldly one. It's just one that's decorated with beads and chants. Same problem. So you can really get a sense of where the energy has to drop from the mind, just a foot below the mind, to the center of our chest. So, and it changes everything. It changes how we look. It changes the perceptions itself. Suddenly it's not about what's wrong. It's about the sense of appreciation, gratitude, warmth, openness, receptivity, understanding, learning. It's all getting in. It's porous. It's not being held out by my conflict, by my disdain. It's being let in. It's coming in now. When it starts flowing in that way, you know that you are abiding in love. Because life is getting in, it's coming in. There's no more protection. As long as we are protecting ourselves from life, we are fighting it off, defending ourselves. There's no love in that. There's only argument. When it starts coming in, listen to the words: learning, understanding, receptivity, tenderness, gratitude, appreciation, patience. Which way is the stream moving? Is it flowing out or is it coming in? That should be the governance of your spiritual practice. Is it moving out? Is it damming itself? Or is it porous? Is it fluid? Is it moving this way? Filling you. Crossing the bridge of the divide. Crossing the bridge. Flowing in. Energetically, you can begin to feel that shift, that difference. Encouraging it, getting out of the way of it, allowing, whenever it's dammed, there you are. Whenever it's flowing in, there you are not. A perfect replication of your own existence is in which way the stream moves. Okay, all. Let us move this thing in a wise way.